Members is traveling to the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge this weekend to explore drilling there. Yesterday we spoke with Representative Michelle Bachmann, who's going on that trip. Today we wanted to bring in one of her Democratic counterparts, Representative Earl Blumenauer, a Democrat from Oregon. Representative Blumenauer, good to see you again. You and none of your Democratic colleagues are going on this trip to Anwar.
Not this one. I've been to the Arctic Wildlife Refuge, spent several days hiking and camping there. But with all due respect, my friends are engaged in drillusion. All the experts will tell you, even if we decided to go drill there, open it up tomorrow, American families would pay another $50,000 before there would be any trickle of relief. That's probably 20 years away, and it's only going to result in a couple of pennies of difference when that happens.
So
That's
what's
not
the solution?
approach.
What should we be doing?
Well, one of the things we can do tomorrow is open up the strategic oil reserve. We've done this 3 times in the past, starting in 1991. Each time, the price of a barrel of oil has dropped. Well, last time we did it in 1991.
Well,
it dropped
I mean, there's
a
lot of oil in there, 700 million barrels.
Yeah.
The president has pretty much said he's not going to do that.
Well,
but the bottom line is, even if they did that, that is absolutely a finite resource, right? Once you're at the bottom of that thing.
Yeah, well, we don't have to get to the bottom. Remember that world demand only went up 1%, and the price of a barrel of oil has almost doubled. There is a speculative bubble that is involved here, and whether it's $10 a barrel, $50 a barrel, $100 a barrel, that is something that's going to make a difference in a matter of days. The second thing we need to do is continue to reduce demand, and we're moving ahead, providing choices for consumers, providing more incentives to develop things that are already available, and the combination of reducing demand, using the strategic oil reserve, and using the drilling that we have now will make a difference that will be not have to wait for 20 years.
We've talked before. You're clearly passionate about this, and many of your colleagues are, but we have seen congressional hearings, we've seen bills. Does this not need to be treated a little bit more like an emergency, where everybody comes together, puts aside some partisan differences, and says, what do we actually have to do? There are 4 or 5 things causing the price of oil to be where it is. Do we not need something more urgent?
Well, I agree that it's urgent. That's why, for instance, tapping into the reserve tomorrow, that is why we need to deal with oversight of the markets. That's why we ought to be working on renewables that will be a sustainable energy future. Remember, this is part of what we passed in the first 100 hours of Congress. To be able to change the energy future. We had to fight to increase fuel efficiency standards for the first time in 30 years. This has been on the top of the agenda of Speaker Pelosi and the Democrats in the House and Senate since the beginning. And we've had to fight to get to the point that we're at now. I agree, and I hope my Republican colleagues would cooperate with us rather than go look at some place that might have some oil 20 years from now. People need relief now.
Representative, good to talk to you again. Thank you for joining us. Representative Earl Blumenauer of Oregon joining us.
My pleasure.